Hey again, another 3ds Max process video about a 3D asset that I've made, a radioactive goop puddle. Originally it was just a square, but now I've changed to radioactive goop. So when mutants die, they drop radioactive goop that hurts the players, and I thought that rather than having a simple square, we should make goop look like goop. So I've already done it, as you can see, and this video will just be a process of how I got the result that I did. So we're going to start off with the four views like usual. Create, geometry, a cylinder, and that's the middle of the top. So we're just going to make a small cylinder, small amount of height. We want the radius to be around 2, around 3. Yep, 3. Height 0.5. Height segments. So this is how many segments will be in between the top and bottom. If I change that to 5, see how, sorry, that's still in create mode. See how there's more segments now? So if we go back to modify and we change the height segments to 2, see how that changes? There's one at the bottom, one at the top. So if we change that to 1, that's fine. We want it to be 1 because we only want to have the top and bottom. So while we've got the cylinder selected, we're in the modify tab, editable poly. We're going to select vertex, use soft selection, and then if I have that selected, and I'm going to select these two faces. So while having vertex selected, which means I can select little individual faces, sorry, not faces, corners or vertexes rather, and I ticked use soft selection. If I adjust this fall off, you see the colors change. So fall off is the strength of how far it will affect the rest of the vertices that are selected. So if I change the vertex to a great amount, it'll technically affect everything and just have no effect. But if I change the fall off to a smaller number, and I select these vertices, see how the colors change? We can adjust the shape to be a bit more puddle-like rather than a simple circle or cylinder or square as we had it. I might change the fall off to be a little bit less on this one, to bring that in a little bit. Select those two, bump back up the fall off to make it not so sharp. Yeah, that'll do for now. So in my perspective, middle mouse wheel and Alt, gonna zoom underneath, going to select polygon, the face. I'm going to turn off soft selection, and I'm going to delete this face because we won't need it. That will be always touching the ground. So with face still selected, I'm going to select the top face, select the scale tool, and I'm going to bring in the face of the top to make it smaller, to make that a bit more rounded and puddle looking. I'm going to select the move. So with all faces selected, I'm going to select every face of the puddle. I'm going to come into this menu, polygon smoothing groups. I seem to have lost it. Oh, faces. Not zooming in the menu, please. I'm just going to minimize that. Minimize soft selection. There it is, polygon smoothing groups. We're going to clear all and set all of them to 1. You should see that all of the faces will smooth to make it more puddle-like. I can't actually describe what polygon smoothing groups does. This is something that I've only recently been taught, so I'm sorry I can't describe that to you. So instead of having a simple rectangle like so, that's how I formed a small little puddle, and from there I repeated the process to make small little droplets of puddles on the outside, and even smaller again to make it look like a little radioactive goop puddle. Then once I imported it into Unity, I added the exclamation point on top, added the same material that I had on the original one, added the scripts over, and just in the previous video, like I did, save as, you save it as the object that you want, as a 3ds Max file, save it, export, and you export it as the object that you want, FBX, name it, and save it to the folder.